And that's just the sad truth when it comes to dropshipping that nobody tells you about, especially when I'll never forget the first time that I actually got a payment from Shopify into my bank account. It was rather insane. Actually, it's Stripe, to be completely honest with you, because Shopify Payments is Stripe. But I'll never forget that feeling when I saw it hit my bank account. I was like, oh my gosh, this works. It wasn't just images that I saw online anymore. It was actually cash coming into my account. And I'll never ever forget the feeling of encouragement, enlightenment, and just knowing that there was some sort of future in this for me, because this was like the first time I ever made a significant amount of money. And I was just like, holy cow, I can take this to heights that I never thought I could take this to, which I ended up doing. Now, why I'm telling you that is because for those of you who have never made your first sale and you're on your way to making your first sale, the feeling you get is like none other. It is almost like a relief, and knowing that it works and knowing that your efforts and all the late nights you've put in have paid off. Even though it might be a sale of like $13, it's almost like seeing light at the end of the tunnel. And once you crack the first $1,000 day, you literally start thinking about everything you're gonna be buying. You think about the $1 million house you're gonna buy, the yacht you're gonna buy. Once you clear $100,000, that's it. You're done with your job. Like legitimately, you're like, all right, I'm done here. Nice knowing you. See ya. So the feeling that I received when I first got my first payment is one that I hope everybody gets to experience, because it truly is an experience. Now, before I forget, I just have to let you know, 100K Blueprint 3.0, Wednesday, March 20th. We have a 9 a.m., 3 p.m., and 7 p.m. workshop that we're gonna be holding. And when I say we, it's because I invited one of my students and good friends, Mario, onto the workshop with me as well. And he's gonna pretty much talk to you about how he went from literally nothing, not even owning a phone. This is the craziest story. He didn't even have a phone, and he found 100K. He was like, all right, let's try it, why not? And it turns out the guy made over $840,000 in an 8-month time period, which is insane. Now, before I even jump ahead to the workshop, the very first thing you're gonna have to do before you can even get invited to the workshop is go and download this free book. This is probably one of the most impressive things I've ever put together, and it's gonna be 100% free. Here's the title of it, just so you can see. So I'm gonna start off with one of the most pressing questions that everybody asks me. It's, Dan, are ads more expensive now? And the simple answer is yes. Ads are definitely way more expensive than they used to be. There's so many factors that go into this. The Cambridge Analytica, I don't want to call it scam, but the leak, if you will. And then now you have almost 6 million active advertisers on Facebook and we're all fighting for, because it's a marketplace. How Facebook works is it's supply and demand marketplace. That's why if you manually bid, you're basically trying to outbid other people, because there's a certain supply of ad space that Facebook can provide to you. And if the demand is in very short amount, then the ads are going to be more expensive. That's exactly what's happening. It's more expensive because the demand is really high and the supply space for the ads is not that great. So yes, ads are getting more expensive, but how do you combat that? And the very short answer for that is you shouldn't be worrying about the higher ad costs. Rather, because you don't really have much control over that. Right? So you can't tell 6 million advertisers to go take a piss and to stop advertising. That's not how it works. Rather, you have to focus on the variable that you can control. And what is the variable that you can control? It's your actual store, your asset that people go to. So how exactly do you control that to make more money? Well, there's a few different options: recurring revenue, and increasing your average order value, and post-sale sequences. So recurring revenue, this only works in certain niches and certain industries. When somebody buys something from you, if you can set them up on a recurring basis, that's great. Amazon does this, Walmart does this. There's so many different companies that are being built right now on a subscription basis, and it's very, very lucrative and profitable because you can project how much money you're gonna be making next month. Then you have post-sale sequences, which I do talk about religiously as well, and increasing your AOV with upsell apps. So yes, ads are getting more expensive, but the only variable that you truly have control over is your actual website. Second question, Dan, is the market saturated? This is such a good question. No, the market is not saturated. However, I do recommend you go around and tell everybody that the market is saturated. Why? Because that means less competition for me, less competition for people like you. I really am starting to think that this whole market saturation ideal was created by some of the drop shippers in the space, like influencers, so they can go ahead and just deter people or deter people from actually running and trying the dropshipping model. It's almost like an inside job is what I'm starting to kind of look at it as, because I just created a store, and those of you who have been following me for the past few weeks, you literally just saw that I created a store and brought it from zero to over $200,000 in 30 days with a fresh pixel, and it's just a generic store. So no, there's really not anything oversaturated. It's more so, do you know what you're doing? Now, a lot of people might think that the market is oversaturated, and the way I look at it is if there's a lot of people in that market, that's phenomenal. That means people are buying in that market. And here's the thing, if there's a lot of competition in the market, and if it might look like oversaturation, what you need to understand is that the way for you to differentiate yourself is either A, adding a bonus, or B, what you want to go ahead and do is figure out how to make that product more unique. Now, the days of just lowering prices and undercutting people are far from gone, okay? If you're playing that game, that is really, really dumb. I don't know why people think that that's like a marketing, yeah, it's a marketing tactic, but it's not like ingenious marketing. It's just undercutting, and essentially, you're cutting off your nose and spite your face. So that means you're just losing more money compared to if I'm selling the same product you are, my margins are higher, yours are lower. Well, guess what? You're gonna end up going out of business way before me because you have way slimmer margins and ads just keep getting more expensive. So don't lower your prices, don't make prices low just because you feel like you have to compete. That's the worst mindset to be in, okay? Very, very bad. You have to differentiate yourself and actually be smart with your marketing. So no, oversaturation isn't really a thing. I personally think oversaturation has become something that has been formulated by different influencers in the space just to deter people from going ahead and getting started. That's my 2 cents, but obviously that's what I just see. That's kind of what I feel. I don't think it's oversaturated whatsoever. As a matter of fact, before I end that, I also have statistics in here that show the growth of e-commerce and sales online. And I can tell you one thing right now, that the way sales are going, there's definitely no oversaturation that's going to be happening anytime soon. As a matter of fact, we're in the gold rush era of our time. So if you think there's a possibility of oversaturation, you have a lot more to learn. Let's move on. One of the biggest questions I get is, Dan, is Facebook your only traffic sources? No, it's not. We've been testing so many different traffic sources recently. As a matter of fact, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll also see that I posted something in regards to a new traffic source that we've been testing, and it's been working exceptionally well. As a matter of fact, looking at other places for traffic should be something on the top of your mind, whether it's Twitter, Pinterest, Google, Bing. Those are, more relatively well known. Twitter, I would just completely trash. Twitter's garbage traffic. No offense, Twitter. But again, looking at different traffic sources is definitely something you want to take a look at because everybody's focused on Facebook, right? Everybody's attention is all on Facebook. Meanwhile, you have these other companies and here's the thing, these other companies, these other advertising platforms, you can say, do, and link to whatever you want. Okay, let's just call a spade a spade. And Brian will know this as well. Facebook is the harshest one. And it's crazy because these other networks will let you promote whatever the heck you want, say whatever the heck you want, do whatever the heck you want. And it's because they're not as heavily mandated as Facebook. Yeah, Facebook does have a lot of traffic, don't get me wrong. But there's other traffic sources out there. And eventually, I'll go ahead and start talking about some of them. But if you join 100K Blueprint, you'll know about the ones that we're testing right now and that are working. Now, one of the very last questions that I want to go ahead and answer is, will dropshipping be around for a very long time? Yes, dropshipping has been around way before me and will be around way after me. However, if you want to go ahead and venture into other businesses and other markets, you absolutely can. As a matter of fact, I did something to help you, is I made this video right over here outlining 4 different business models that you can get involved with immediately. And one of those business models, I just received a random $13,000 check the other week and I cashed it in and I totally forgot it was even there. So check out that video. But if you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe and you have notifications turned on as well. So Dan Fam Notification Squad, it's been real. I'll catch you tomorrow.